Inside the MBA, your bi-weekly window into what's happening at the MBA.
Welcome to MBANow. I'm Adam DeSanctis. Katie Brewer, Senior Vice President at Radian. Thank you for joining us today. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that the housing market is very healthy right now, but some real estate owned type of trends out there. Tell me a little bit about your background first, and we'll get into some of the trends that you're seeing in the space.
No, absolutely. So I've been in the industry just over 15 years, primarily in the default servicing space. I joined Radian about 4 years ago via Green River Capital in the REO space. So lots of experience within the industry, most recently REO outsourcing, as well as a couple of their business units at Radian.
So with the market right now, what are some of those trends that we actually are seeing?
Overall reduced inventory obviously is a big one. With the improved market, we've seen a lot less REOs out there in the market. Additionally, we've seen a shift in the geographic concentration. So primarily, I guess I should say historically, we had seen more across the U.S. However, it's moved more to the Northeast recently just because of delayed foreclosures. We've seen a lot of properties that were in judicial foreclosure states that have taken longer to foreclose. Mm-hmm. There have been lots of starts and stops in the foreclosure process, and so we're just now seeing that inventory come in. So a lot higher concentrations within that Northeast area. Also, especially in recent years, we've seen a lot more properties affected by natural disasters. Yes. So the floods, the hurricanes, the fires. So that's definitely become, a challenge. And we've seen a lot more of that, especially recently. Lastly, I'd say we've seen a trend towards doing more repairs and renovations on properties than we had in the past. So, these days clients are trying to get top dollar for the assets, putting a lot more into it in terms of choosing the granite, paint colors, upgrading appliances. So we've seen a lot of that, especially in recent times. So some trends that we're seeing in REO.
For mortgage servicers, what are some of the challenges and opportunities for them?
So, with regards to the Northeast portion, one of the big challenges, just even getting the deed recorded. So with all the excess volume in the courts, we've seen delays in getting the deed recorded, which is a challenge for us because we can't even get utilities on it timely to start repairs. So not only do you have, your holding costs are having an uptick, you see a lot more just in terms of your timeline is increasing, right? You're waiting for everything to be reported to actually get the utilities on to even start the repairs. So that's definitely been a challenge from a Northeast standpoint. With natural disasters, the obvious is going to be the damage, right? So we've seen, damage from floods, roof damage, tree damage, structural damage. So, addressing those timely is definitely a challenge. Ensuring that, ideally you have an agent that's proactive and can make some measures ahead of time to hopefully, limit the damage as much as possible. So we at Green River try to work with our agents to, prepare properties as much as possible. You can't always prepare for everything, but as much as possible, we try to do that. Lastly, from a repairs and renovation standpoint, I mentioned the delays in the Northeast, and overall, we've seen a lot of competition in the contractor market. So there's a lot of repairs and renovations going on in the retail market, and so you're competing with those bigger jobs, the larger scale jobs that contractors would prefer to do over a smaller scale job. So we've seen a lot of competition there, and so delays, extended timelines, and just challenges with completion, definitely. So
and so as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, market conditions right now are very healthy. Delinquencies are low. But whether it's economic or natural disasters, how can servicers prepare if we start to see a rise in our REO?
Absolutely. So, being an REO outsourcer, I think one of the nice flexibilities we offer are from a staffing standpoint, right? So, knowing that there are ebbs and flows in volume, it's hard to staff for that. You don't want to staff to your peak volume. You want to make sure that you have some flexibility. And so utilizing an outsourcer is really a great solution in terms of being able to use them for the ebbs and the flows, the peaks and the valleys. And so we offer that, which is really nice. So I'd say, definitely if we're to expect an influx of volume, using an outsourcer is nice to be able to, kind of offset your fixed cost staffing model. Obviously, servicers are very concerned about costs and margin and impact. So, I think it's key to be able to use those outside resources to maximize your profitability in the long run. So.
Well, Katie, it's been a pleasure having you talk to us today. Thank you for joining MBANow.
Thank you, Adam.
This is Mortgage News Network.